So good afternoon, everyone. I'm Radhika, and just like Arjun, I'm also an intellectual property lawyer and a commercial lawyer. I've been practicing for the last 16 years, and I started my firm 8 years back. So if we go back to Jan this year, I will paint a little scenario of what I was going through. So in December last year, I was approached by a very large firm based out of Bombay. They wanted to merge my firm with theirs because they didn't have an IP practice. And we were having conversations, and I was very confused whether I wanted to take that step or not. And I reached out to Balaji, and we were having our conversations. And eventually, end of Jan, I said no. And the reason was the culture was very different. I couldn't see my colleagues because I'd been part of the LEC for the past 2 years, and the practices that were there, like feed forward, and making your colleagues they are like entrepreneurs and your team. And when I went and spoke to the law firm that was there in Bombay, I realized it was not a fit for my team, and I didn't want my team to face that and really go into a larger firm where they were not treated as colleagues. So that was one. Second, my colleague who'd been with me for 5 years, she got through Stanford, which was huge for all of us, but I realized that I had to let her go. And she had a spine injury, so she had to leave early. I had two colleagues who were new, one who'd just joined and one who'd been with me for about 1.5 years, and another one who'd been with me for about 7 years. And while all of this was going on, I was actually wondering, what next? Can I offer them the growth that a larger firm could? How will it be? And I was going crazy because we had a lot of clients, a lot of work, which meant I was working at least 13 to 14 hours a day. And the same burden was happening on my team. And that's when I reached out to Balaji and I said, sir, I need a solution because I'm on the verge of closing down. I don't think I can carry on like this. And that's when the whole journey started with Golden Strategy Square. And I went to sir and we were, he said, you come, you give me 2 months and then we'll see. I don't know how those 2 months have gone, and it's been a huge shift. We started with the first thing, which was the golden vibe. And my golden vibe, like you shared, was empowering people, but I forgot that means empowering your team and yourself. So I would not charge clients. I would feel, no, they're startups. How can I charge them? It's not okay. But I would give in a lot of time. My colleagues would give in a lot of time. The end result would be brilliant, but we would never charge. And that's when I realized how it was being counterproductive. And then from empowering and enabling, while the whole session was going on, one word got added: enriching. And that changed the entire game. So what happened was it was empowering, enabling, and enriching the firm, the team, and the clients. So that was one huge shift that happened. And second was when I understood the golden vibe of myself and the firm. Luckily, it was the same. In the sense, I realized all of us were the same. And then we started looking at what are the principles and the values that the firm is going to follow. And when those principles and values and ethics came in, I knew the kind of clients I wanted to work with. What is it that I'm not ready to compromise on? That became very clear. And then the next step was identifying the clients. Who is it that I really want to work with? Because right now what was happening is anything that was coming to us, I just didn't know how to say no. And through this whole process, I realized, no, I needed to. Because we have a small team, cannot be overburdening them, and we need to be clear on who we want to work with. So then the identification happened. Who are the clients? What kind of services will be offered to them? What are the kind of services I want to do as a firm and my colleagues want to, which will help us scale up? And that got restricted, that got narrowed down. Then we started looking at the processes that have to come in place, how the team is going to work. And through this whole thing, now the team is so empowered. We're just 4 of us. But the kind of work that's happening, none of us work more than 7 to 8 hours in a day. And after 6 o'clock, nobody is allowed to send emails, and everybody is pursuing their hobbies, which they had forgotten and which was somewhere. So that's the kind of liberation that's come up. The kind of client profile has shifted. Earlier, I was mainly working with individuals and maybe small MSMEs. Now, after the identifying the kind of work I want to do and the clients that I want to reach out to, it's shifted to actually entities entering India. They've started reaching out to us, or startups who are getting invested into by foreign clients, by foreign investors. So there's been a huge shift in the kind of clientele as well, and the kind of work we are doing. And the team is very excited. Now they decide who will do what work. I don't delegate anymore. They follow up with me. I get constant reminders on you have to check this. So the list comes from them on what I need to do. And I can go on more holidays, and it's just been a beautiful experience. And I really want to thank Balaji for just being there and just telling me to just stay. And he said, just trust me and just stay here for 2 months. And the revenue has gone 2x. Employees are happy. Not employees, colleagues are happy. And my team here, the league team, they are here, and they've been, both of them have worked with me, Arjun, and they've just been, Anoop and Arjun have been working constantly, and Anil sir. So thank you so much for everything.